All right. Welcome in H-Town. You are now tuned in to The Solid Grip, coming to you live at 5, no time for jive. I'm your host, J.R. Wilson, alongside me, my father, Ping Wilson. And look, we about to bring you that hot, sizzling fire today. Now is the time for you to open up your ears. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about right after this here. All right. For all y'all that watch this video, before we go any further, you see what is scrolling at the bottom of the page. Like, subscribe, comment, and share this link. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already done so, with your people, with your partners, with your family. Share this thing. If you don't learn anything from this show, even though I feel like my father and I, we put out great analysis for the common folk. Okay, we're not politically correct. We're politically incorrect, yet have the correct and accurate things to come behind what we talk about in sports as far as our sports acumen is concerned. But if you don't learn nothing else from this show, learn that this show is the flavor for your wings, the barbecue sauce for your ribs, and the sugar for your Kool-Aid, not your tank. Don't get it twisted nor misconstrued, okay? So let's get straight off into this thing without playing games. Pop, man, how you feeling over there? Is that camo that you wearing, man?
Camo, baby. It's wartime, baby. It's war, baby.
Absolutely.
War,
Absolutely.
NBA,
Absolutely.
War, National Football League. It is war. So, yes, sir. I got my camo on.
Already, I just, shout out to all the teams in high school in the Houston metropolitan area that are still in the UIL playoffs. Y'all keep doing your thing, keep pressing. May the best man win. All right, Pop. Look, man, let's get straight off into this thing, man. Let me get to my banners here so we can do what we need to do. So y'all already know what the main part of the show is. If you can see the title of the show, and it's James Harden. So until probably yesterday, I was convinced that James Harden was back, Pop. But now, from what happened, what transpired yesterday, I think that it's a foregone conclusion that he's out of here. It's I think that it's imminent at this point of time that he does not want to be in the city of Houston. I don't think that he's made it clear why, but he doesn't want to be here. I think he first made me feel that way when he turned down $50+ million a year that we offered him. But I think that it's made clear, not just because of his part, but now the Rockets are extending their trade talks with different teams to try to get him a deal to get him out of here. I would have loved to see Harden stay here. He's probably one of the best players that we've ever had. I would even say tipping the scale on Hakeem the Dream. A lot of people would disagree with me on that just because of the name that Olajuwon has in the city. But James Harden has been transcended, and nothing less than that. But I think that it's a foregone conclusion, Pop, that James Harden is out of here. I would love to know your take on what you think is going on with James Harden right now.
Well, okay. I got 2 points of view, okay? I agree with you that up until yesterday, I thought it was a possibility that he might stay, but I agree with you that it is imminent that he's out of here. Especially if Philadelphia is going to put Simmons in the deal, okay?
Right.
I just can't believe they're going to do that. And I'm not real high on Simmons, but he is a young superstar, and he still got time to develop a shot and stuff. But he still does so many other things well, rebound the basketball, definitely pass the ball, and he's great in transition. But let's just go back to a day before that, the game that they played against San Antonio. Actually, the day that James actually gave his first interview. I really thought that there was an opportunity for James and Silas to get together because I think James realizes that, okay, they've taken away my general manager, they've taken away my head coach. Uh, and again, I hate to say this, but my boy, B.J. Johnson, who was a great ambassador for this basketball team, always had a good word for the players. He had a great relationship with all the players. But I really think James was saying, hey, this guy Silas not bad, and he really does know his stuff. And he got us percolating and stuff. And Strange thing happened against the second game against San Antonio. They didn't play John Wall or Boogie Cousins. Okay, just Harden and basically his crew, and
Right.
went off. Man, they played big Christian Wood. He looked like the second coming of Anthony Davis plus. Okay, so uh, it gave him a nice rotation. And
Yeah.
and let me tell you, let me say this: as a coach, having coached both at the high school and the college level, your superstars get treated a little different, guys. I don't care what nobody says. I've dealt with them. I've had them, and one particular one, I won't call his name and stuff, but he was a 5-star athlete coming out of high school, and I had an opportunity to coach him when he was a sophomore, and I was just actually getting into AAU coaching, and I always prided myself on being a very personable person and being able to get along with everybody. But this kid wouldn't break, man, and I didn't understand it. And I said, okay, hey, I ain't gonna worry about it as long as we winning games. But one day we were playing over in Lubbock, Texas, in a big tournament, and I decided to go to his room. I said, hey, man, can we talk? He kind of looked at me, shook his head. I said, man, what's the deal, man? I say, surely by now I've been coaching you for 3, 4 weeks and stuff. You can do more than shake your head, man. I mean, what's the deal? I know you can talk, man. I mean, and hey, don't get me wrong. I love the way you bring it on the floor, but hey, man, I'd like to develop a relationship with you off the floor. He kind of looked at me kind of real strange. He said, Coach. And I was like, wow, you can talk. And he said, yeah, Coach, I just, I've been through a lot in my life, and, you know, I just don't talk a lot. I said, well, I understand, man. I say, but hey, listen, if there's ever a time you want to talk about something and stuff, hey, my room is open, my door is open. And so the next day he came down and he told me, gave me his life experience and told me why he was so tough. And come to find out, the kid had a tough interior, okay, but his exterior was just like any other kid and stuff. Long story short, me and this kid went on to not only coach him another couple of years in the AAU, we came to the same junior college that I was coaching to, ended up going to the same university that I ended up coaching at, and ended up being just a great friend. I mean, just a great, great friend. So I said all that to say this. Silas is that type of person with that type of personality. And he would have eventually got to James Harden and made James Harden realize, okay, man, sometimes things don't work out right. It's just like a man going through a divorce. Sometimes, your first marriage don't work, but the second marriage may work and it'd be great.
Yeah.
Give me an opportunity, man. And I think Silas had that kind of personality that he was willing to work with James and eventually get to James and draw James back into the fold and stuff, and where James would end his career here. But we'll see going forward, man. I mean, like I said, I think it's kind of imminent now. If the Rockets, for whatever reason, want him out, it may be him. It may been his people telling the Rockets, hey, it ain't gonna work. It's just not gonna work. And so, I look for something to happen before the season start. If not, at least 3 or 4 games into the season.
And I would agree with everything you said, Pop, and I would add to that and say that he obviously wants a championship. When you're the superstar in a city, especially the fourth largest city in America, huge metropolitan city that he lives in, and they're gonna put a statue of you up, and you're rooted in this city, to uproot yourself and go somewhere else and establish what you've established here over the last 7 to 8 years is a process. But you have to want more than just not wanting to be here because maybe you didn't agree with who the coach was that's here. Maybe you didn't agree with them getting rid of the general manager. But also, man, you want a ring. You've gotten the MVP. You've gotten the big contracts with the team and with Reebok and with other endorsements that he has. He obviously wants something higher, man, which is a championship. And he knows even if he makes the Hall of Fame, in which he definitely will, you want to have that ring on your name, on your finger, then in a case somewhere nestled in your house behind a glass case, man. And so I could understand that. We don't truly know his motives behind the what or the why, but all we can do is sit back, expect that, man, see what happens, and hope the squad that the Rockets has without him can be able to go on, man, and do some good things for the city, man. Because I definitely think he's gone, man. So, staying in the city, Pop. I want to talk about the Houston Texans for a second here. Obviously, we know that they here of recent interviewed Louis Riddick, who's an analyst on ESPN. And I wish I had the clip that I could play here, that how elated he was to have the opportunity, not just for the Texans, but for other teams that he's interviewed with. He mentioned that the interview went well, and we'll just see what happens. But there's something that we need to talk about pertaining to this. And what is that? The one thing that we know is that they passed a rule in the NFL where if you hire a minority coach or general manager, or if an assistant minority coach goes to another team and becomes the head coach, right? Or if you have another administrator that's a minority that goes to another team and gets a higher position, you get draft picks. You get compensated with draft picks. And how you get compensated is, I've gotten officially, is you get a third round pick for 1 year, the year that they come, and you get a third round pick for the following year. So one thing you and I talked about, Pop, that I think is very interesting is with Louis Riddick, knocking on the door of possibly being the general manager for the Houston Texans. Also, Romeo Cornell possibly staying, and even Eric Bieniemy possibly becoming the new incumbent for head coach for the Houston Texans. Here's the thing: we have a reward that could possibly come our way. I think one of the reasons why, you know, the Texans, just to be truthful, you got to play the game, right? Let's interview the minorities to see if we can find one that we like. And then, since Bill O'Brien drove this thing into the ground and we don't have any first and second round picks, guess what? We can stack up some picks by hiring a minority general manager. We've had one already in Rick Smith, who's gotten us two of our greatest players that have ever played for the Texans, and J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson. And not to mention DeAndre Hopkins, who's no longer with the Houston Texans. So here's what I'm saying, Pop, and I'll let you expound on this. If we get a head coach that is a minority, which would be like Eric Bieniemy, or if Romeo Cornell stayed here, we would get a third round draft pick for the 2021, and we would get a third round draft pick for 2022. The same would happen if we also added a minority general manager. We would get a third round pick for 2021, and we would get a third round pick for 2022. That would give us two third round picks along with the third round pick that we already have this year. That would give us three third round picks. Now, Pop, you asked me something, and I'm gonna let you bring it up about what you think should be done if we do receive that compensation from the minority coaches. What you think we should do as far as the Texans are concerned in the draft?
Well, hey, man, if I had a seat at the table, I would certainly consider this. And I would also consider, hey, a third round pick for JJ. So that give you three third round picks. Now, there are a lot of things you can do with fourth round picks. Okay, you can parlay that to maybe move up and get you a 1 and a 2, or you can sit still. It's gonna be some good players there in the third round. So I mean, it gives you great bargaining positions, and you still got the people that you wanted. Lewis Reddick will do a hell of a job for this organization as far as going out and being the GM and recognizing talent and the other things that the GM will do.
Right,
Everybody knows that Eric Bieniemy is at the top of the list of new coaches and stuff to come on board. He's got to be 1, 2 on everybody's list and stuff. So you don't I used to hear my old man talking about killing two birds with one stone. You
right,
killing four birds with one stone. Okay, you go
right,
you go out there and like I say, you not only uh, follow the protocol of the Rooney Rule of interviewing minorities, you actually go out there and hire two, and you get double compensation for two.
right,
Listen, man, you could find yourself right there with the Kansas Cities of the world, with the Green Bays of the world, within a year or two. And hey, and the thing about it, you already got four. Okay,
right,
so he's gonna be there for another 10 years. You can
right.
find yourself in position to be competing and winning a Super Bowl every year. And that's what it's
Yeah,
about, man. I mean, that's
right,
what it's all about and stuff. And so, like I said, if I had a seat at the table, I wouldn't have to be at the head, but I would certainly throw that up there. Like, hey guys, it's a lot more to this than getting a great coach and a great GM. We
Yeah.
get some great players to go with it and stuff, and we can't beat that. So if I'm Cal McNair, I don't know whether that's even hit his head, or maybe Tony Dungy, or whoever some of these advisors are, has said, hey man, listen, man,
Hey,
I'm African American, and right now, hey, things kind of looking up for us, and people are actually being compensated for looking at us. It
come
goes
on.
deeper than the Rooney Rule and stuff. And you
Come
got
on.
to take advantage of situations, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I mean, it's no different than, some people were complaining about Joe Biden and how, and I'm not trying to be political, but I'm going to be political. How, Joe Biden was the African American community that put you where you are and stuff, and woo woo and woo woo, and you need to add some more uh, people of color to your cabinet. Listen, he's put Kamala Harris in
Hmm.
position to be the first woman president of the United States. Hey,
Right.
I'm not that greedy, man. You know what I'm saying? That's good enough for me. So what I'm saying is, because basically, if she could some kind of way get that position, think about the spinoff that she you could have from that. So hey,
Right.
if I had a seat at the table, I would be certainly pulling on somebody's coattail. And hey, let's take a close look at this, because this could be this could be a gold mine, absolute gold mine.
It's and it look Pop is smart because what you can do is work out a situation where if it doesn't work, you got the money, right? You don't lose salary cap for
Exactly.
administrator's position, right? You got the money, just like you still paying Rick Smith. No, I think they just got done paying Rick Smith, but they still paying Brian Gaine and they still paying Bill O'Brien. If it doesn't work out, cut your loose ends, right? But you still get your picks, right? Then they
You
can
got
do it all over again. And it's going to go ahead, go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm saying you still got your
Yeah,
picks, you still got your players. And
right,
the past I look, you can't make chicken soup out of chicken feathers.
right,
Okay, you
right.
you can't do it. So hey, regardless of who the coach is, if he don't have the players, look at Bill Belichick, look at New England. I mean,
Yep,
look at how they falling off the wagon and stuff, man. So
right.
you got to have players first. But if you got the players and you got the coach to coach them up, hey man, you got an opportunity, man, to turn this city upside down. I'm talking about
Yep.
to the point where people are excited about this team like they were the Houston Oilers back in the Love You Blue days.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Pop. It's gonna take this team, I think, 2 years, 2 good years, and I'm talking about next season and the season after that, and then the following season. I think is when we'll come and we'll really be making noise because we'll have all those picks on our side, and we'll be able to develop a team around Deshaun Watson. The team that Deshaun inherited was an older team. It wasn't like how
Right,
Patrick Mahomes went to Kansas City and the team
right,
was already set up for him. It had been built for a good quarterback to be installed in that position
right.
and flourish. So when he got there, everything was set up just the way he
It's
needed it. They
already in
needed a
place.
few pieces on defense, right? And when they got those few pieces, boom, they went all the way, no problem. Andy Reid was already the type of coach, man, that could get you where you need to be at. He just never really had the guy that can get him over the top. Although he got extremely close many a times with Donovan McNabb, McNabb was not Patrick Mahomes. Also, they didn't have the same talent, right? And speaking of that, and I'm gonna just say this real quick, and it's not in our rundown, but it is concerning the general managers. Even though I would love to see another minority general manager here in the city of Houston, if I'm being honest, the general manager that I would like to have is John Dorsey, and I'm gonna tell you why expeditiously, Pop, and we'll move on to the next thing. He drafted Patrick Mahomes. He drafted Tyreek Hill. He drafted Travis Kelce. He drafted Baker Mayfield. He brought in Odell Beckham Jr. He brought in Jarvis Landry. Okay. He built the Kansas City team, period. He brought in the Honey Badger. Okay. And he built that Cleveland team. He brought in Myles Garrett. He built that team. There's no other team in the NFL that has more talent than the Cleveland Browns. They just don't know how to use all their weaponry. They haven't figured it out, even though they're a formidable team right now, right? Just because all that talent combined is just, it's rubbing up against one another and it's starting to kind of work, but it's not working to the potential that it could be working. But he built those two teams, man. And I want a guy, especially since we've been run so hard in the ground, to be able to come in here and do what he can do. And if that minority general manager can come in here and do that, hey man, I'm open to it.
Now let me ask you a question,
Go ahead.
Rich.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you were in position
Mm-hmm.
to have all the draft picks that Kansas City and especially Cleveland had over the last number of years,
Mm-hmm.
you, 35-year-old Jeremy Richard Wilson, do you think you could have picked the right guys?
I'm gonna tell you this. I think that I could have picked. I'm gonna tell you this. I know I would have picked Patrick Mahomes. You know that, right? That's the quarterback that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? And I love Deshaun Watson. But I think that out of all those talented players that he picked, and I know what you're getting at, he had a whole lot of picks, right?
Yeah.
To get it right.
And I'm gonna add something else to it, Rich.
Go ahead.
You and I do it every year. When
Right.
we pick the draft, we do better than the experts, man. And I'm not bragging on me and you. You know,
Yeah.
I've been doing this a lot longer than you. But you and I do a better job than Mel Kiper Jr. and all them other experts, man. You know, we compare our notes every year and stuff. Listen, man, you give me an opportunity, they give you an opportunity, and I'm not saying it because what you said about Dorsey. But if you got the picks,
yeah,
that's a different thing when you're picking 29th and 30th and 31st and those picks. But when you're picking first and second and third or 10th or 11th, you ain't got to be no rocket scientist, man.
Yeah.
You ain't got to be no rocket scientist to pick the right players. So all I'm saying is this. I'm not saying that Dorsey hadn't done a great job. He has.
Yeah.
But I believe Louis Riddick, and not only Louis Riddick, I believe there's many other people out there could have done just as good a job of picking players. Now, do those players always fit? Do you always have the right coach to coach those guys up and stuff? You absolutely don't. But to pick them, to go out there and say, hey, this guy runs a 4.2 40 and he got great hips and stuff, and this guy runs a 4.5 40, but he got slow feet. Hey man, you ain't got to be no rocket scientist to know you want that 4.2 that can turn his hips real fast.
Yeah, no, you absolutely right, Pop. I have no argument with that. I think the closing statement that I made in that regard was, if the minority coach can come here and do that, I'm ready for it, because he'll have, if a minority general manager comes here, he's going to have the picks right this year, and especially next year. He's going to have the picks, and if he's smart, he'll trade out JJ Watt. And
Exactly.
maybe that's something we'll talk about in the coming shows. But if he's smart, he'll get some picks, and he'll really have a lot. Because what you need from this team right now, Pop, and I know we going off on a tangent right now, but what you need with this team is you need multiple picks, right?
Multiple picks.
I know we talked about this. I would rather have 3 or 4 third-round picks than to have 1 first-round pick, unless I had a high first-round pick, like top 10. You know what I'm saying? But everything after that, yeah. So my thing is, you need the picks. Cal McNair knows that, right? He's a businessman. You know you need the picks. Get the guys in here you need to get. Like you said, man, you got guys that are. I don't know if you necessarily have guys that are better than other guys, and I just kind of want to agree with you on that. Is if you have guys that are studying these players, right? Because I think the best thing to do is you look at the guys, how do they do against the best of the best, right? That's what I want to know. How do they do when they facing the best of the best, right? Do they do a decent to good job, or do they drop the ball? That's what I'd be looking for. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to find those diamonds in the rough, like the linebacker Leonard in Indianapolis that came out of a SWAC, not a SWAC school, HBCU school.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? I think North Carolina, AT. I'm ripping that and butchering that all the way, but I know either North or South Carolina, he came out of a HBCU school.
Right.
But man, he's one of the best linebackers in the league. It's hard to find those guys, and I don't know if you necessarily find them. It's like, hey, you just come up, right? But that's what we need, man. We need the picks, man. And I didn't want to stay too hard on that, y'all. We gonna move on, but there's a lot to be talked about. And really, I haven't done my show in a couple of weeks. It's Christmas time on the UPS drive. I've been extremely busy. Me and my old man was actually supposed to have an emergency show Wednesday night, and man, I didn't get home to 10:45, so we didn't get to do it. But all right, man, let's move on. So Speaking of color, speaking of ethnocentric topics, Tiger Woods and his son had a little session where they were at the driving range. And I mean, Charlie, clearly he's taken after his father. But there's something interesting. If you don't know anything about golf, um, a lot of people don't really do golf, but we're gonna do it for a quick second here. So when you talk about holes, you talk about par. So if you have, for example, a par 4, right? That means that in order for you to make par, which would be even with the holes, you have to make the par 4 in 4 shots. Okay, it has to be in the hole 4 shots. Okay, and so you have par. Now we ain't gonna talk about bogey and double bogey. Okay, that's 1 over par and 2 over par and triple bogeys, 3 over par, and so on and so forth. We're talking about something wonderful that happened today with Charlie Woods, the son of Tiger Woods. He hit what's called an eagle. Okay, so when you have par, let's go to a par 5. Okay, when you have a par 5, if you get it in 4 shots, if you get it in 5 shots, that will be par. If you get it in 4 shots, that will be birdie. If you get it in 3 shots, it will be something that's called eagle. If you get it in 2 shots, it's called an albatross. And if you get it in 1 shot, it's called a hole in one, which everyone is very familiar with. Okay. But today, Charlie Woods, the son of Tiger Woods, hit an eagle. Let me tell you something. It is extremely difficult to get an eagle. When you watch if you watch any type of golf, you'll see most of the time they making par, they making birdie. That's like, if you averaged it out, that's what's getting hit most of the time. You very rarely hear people hit eagles, very rarely hear them hit albatrosses, and definitely very rarely see them hit hole in ones. But little Charlie, he doing his thing, Pop. He hit an eagle today and showed out for his old man. That had to feel great, man. A year and some change later, after seeing his dad win the green jacket, because he wasn't even born when Tiger won the other green jackets. But when he saw his dad won the green jacket after all that adversity, and then now you coming on the scene and clearly your dad has been working with you, man, it just warmed my heart, Pop. I don't know how you feel about this, but I'd love to hear.
Well, yes, and I can equate to how Tiger was feeling. I mean, he's definitely a chip off the old block. But I'm gonna equate this real quick, a quick story. When you were out here living with me and you were playing football at Lee High School and it was a spring game, and the defense is just dominated. I mean, absolutely dominated. So the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator say, "Hey, man, let's put some new units out there." And the defensive units, I'm gonna leave a couple of mine, okay, on. And I remember the offensive coordinator said, "Well, I tell you what, you can leave a few on, but you make sure Frog come off, okay?" So that made me feel good. You know what I'm saying? Because I try to stay out of the way of what you were doing and what your coaches were doing with you. But that's
Yeah.
how Tiger felt today when little Charlie got that eagle and stuff, knowing that, hey, he is a chip off the old block, and in another 10 years, you'll see him doing the same thing that his dad did. No doubt in my mind about it. Uh, they're treading a little bit today. They're falling back, I think, to number 11, uh, the number 11 slot and stuff. But hey, man, it's no doubt he's got everything that his dad had, and may have a little more at this early age. I'm not sure how old he is, 9, 10, something like that.
Shoot, I was looking it up right now to see how old young Charlie is. Young Charlie is 11, Pop. He's
11.
11.
Wow.
You talking about 10 years? I don't think so. I think more like 7 or 8. Because think about this, man. Think about this real quick. And man, we going off on a tangent in golf. Lord have mercy. But think about Tiger Woods' dad, right? He wasn't a huge, golf pro, man. You know what I'm saying? But he trained Tiger, man. Trained him, turned him into a beast. Think about all of what Tiger Woods has that his dad did not have access to, man.
Exactly.
I ain't just talking about the financial part. I'm talking about the plugs, all the golfers that he knows, all the golf pros he can get to help him with his swing, his son with his swing along with his. I'm always one that believes don't get your instructions just from one person. Get it from multiple people. You know what I'm saying? So you don't get burnt out on that one person, and so that you see things from a different perspective, so that you're able to tackle things differently. There are things that that Justin Thomas could probably show young Charlie Woods that Tiger Woods can't show him. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly.
Is that to me, that's just the best way to do it. But man, y'all, we got a lot to get to, and it's already, we 30 minutes in already. So yeah, man, that's just how it is today, man. But college football, Pop. Um, college is dealing with a lot of issues, man. I mean, a lot of issues as far as COVID-19 is concerned. I do think that they're going to be able to finish up what's going on. But it's going to be very difficult for them, man, because you have multiple teams, man, where a lot of players on the team are catching the virus, and they don't have the same tools, and they don't have the same doctors and people that are there at the facilities testing them 2 or 3 times a day the way that they're doing it in the NFL, man. So I just don't know if they're going to be able to make it through. And before I finish, I want to, shout out to Texas A&M. They're number 5 right now
Right.
in the top 25, man. I think that's the highest they've been in I think 5 or 6 years, man.
A
So
long time, Rich.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Shout out to Texas A&M, man. They doing their thing. They've only lost 1 game this year, and Kellen Mond looks pretty good. You know what I'm saying? He's a middle of the pack quarterback, but the team is just looking good. The defense is better this year, and but Alabama's at the top, man. Alabama's at the top. Notre Dame is up there. They doing their thing this year, and Clemson is not far behind them, man. So, Pop, what's the become of college football right now?
Rich, they're gonna play this Final Four, okay? Trust me. If they have to play it in the summertime, and I think basically the teams are set. Alabama, I mean, will be there as the number 1 team. Even if they lose to Florida, they'll still be in the Final Four.
Yeah,
Clemson plays Notre Dame today. There's a possibility if Notre Dame beats them, A&M could slip into that spot, but I don't think that'll happen. Ohio State took care of business today, although they got off to a slow start. They beat Northwestern today, and the 4th team is Notre Dame. So yeah, COVID may catch them. They're a little different from high school, okay? But
yeah,
I'll talk
yeah,
about that once we hit to high school. But they'll postpone these games just like they did for Ohio State. They allowed Ohio State to play in the Big 12, the Big 10 the Big 10 championship game without playing 6 games. So, it's too important and it's too much money. Forget the people in the stands. The network money is just goo gobs of money. So, like I said, they may end up playing it in March, April, May, July, but they're going to play this Final Four because there's too much money involved. A quick side note, you know, Mike Krzyzewski's the Blue Devils was getting beat. And so he said, well, man, we need to put this thing off and just cancel it and stuff. And so one coach said, dang, Mike, it's amazing now when you kicking butt and stuff, you ain't got no problem. But you getting beat now and you want to quit. So I kind of understand what the brother's saying is that, hey, man, no, we're going to play this because there's too much money involved and we missed out on the big dance last year. We're going to do it this year. So, yeah, COVID or no COVID. And again, I'm kind of hitting a sidebar. The NFL, and I know we hadn't talked about this, the NFL and probably college feel the same way. They're not going to break line to play in this game. But, hey, I don't believe that. Yeah, I think if it come down to it, whoever the movers and shakers are like, hey, man, listen, but Moderna, Pfizer, or somebody, we need some shots and some arms. So, anyway, we can talk about that another time. But, yeah, I believe they're going to play this Final Four, Rich, for sure.
we gonna see, man, and we gonna see, man. And just speaking of that, man, we could talk about what did I do with my little link here? I lost my little banner. Okay, I'll make another one. Let's talk about high school football, man.
Okay.
I have the same concern, Pop, about high school football, man. I mean, there are a lot of these teams, man, where the kids are catching COVID, man, and they're really shortchanged. As far as college and the NFL is concerned, man. And they just trying to do the best they can, man. How is this thing gonna play out?
And let me just jump in there real quick, Rich. I feel so sorry for, I was telling you about there's a school out in your area where you work called Pato out in Katy.
Yeah,
Okay.
Pato, yeah.
They beat the drums off of Lee last week. I was just shocked. I couldn't believe it, man. They beat Lee 70-18. Okay, and I'm thinking to myself, Pato gonna make a run, baby, because they are serious. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? Pato lost this week to Canyon 1-0. Okay, so what does that tell you? They had to forfeit because of COVID. So again, they can't do like the colleges or the NFL, postpone the game or put the game off to another time. They just have to call in a loss, man. We had that happen to our volleyball team. I think they got third in the district and stuff and had to forfeit a game. So yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be crazy. But now I'm gonna throw this at you again, Rich.
Okay.
If it's North Shore or Katy, we gonna see some strings get pulled, okay?
Oh, you better
we gonna
know
see
it.
we gonna see some strings get pulled. We gonna see some delays or some cancellation or some postponements or some playing some games at 2 o'clock in the morning out on the freeway because they want North Shore and Katy to continue to roll and stuff, man, because they're too powerful. I mean they've
Right.
been at the top of the ladder, both of them, for the last 10, 15 years. North Shore is sitting number 2 in the country right now. They're set to play your boys, man. Tompkins, okay, with the
Yep.
quarterback
They are.
from going to Alabama, and of course the quarterback, Mr. Miro, and then the quarterback from North Shore is going to Auburn. Hey man,
Yeah.
we get a Iron Bowl future game, man, with those two guys meeting next week, okay?
Oh yeah, and look, I told one of my boys that's a UPS driver, man. He's a North Shore alumnus, and you know them North Shore cats, man. They get on your nerves, man. It's like, dude, it's high school football, bro. Like, but you know, he always want to come tell me, hey man, look, we done won 2 years in a row. We about to win 3 years in a row. And I told him, I said, let me tell you something, man. You better watch out for this boy at Tompkins High School, man.
Yes, sir.
He's like, oh yeah. I already know about it, man. But do you see how our offense doing? He wanted to show me a little highlight. I know what they doing, man. I see what they doing, man. Y'all quarterback is serious business. You know what I'm
Serious
saying? But
business.
I'm telling you, I told him, I'm telling you, this boy can sling that rock, man. He can sling that rock, man. And I'm telling you, if they come out and spread on y'all, you gonna have to get it done on offense because he gonna run up the score. He gonna run up the score, man. He is going to run up the score, and so it's going to be very, very fascinating to see what happens betwixt these
Yes,
two
sir.
teams. Because I
Yes,
would
sir.
say whoever wins between these two teams will probably win the whole thing, Pop.
They'll win it all.
Yeah. So, all right, man. We 38 minutes in, y'all. That's all right. We rolling. We rolling. We roll. I might have to change of plans about going to the store, man. All right, man. Let's get into this, man. Week 5 NFL predictions. Okay. I don't know what's going on with my situation over here. Okay, here we go. Week 5 NFL predictions. Pop. Let's rapid fire this. We got 2 games actually that are being played today. The Bills and the Broncos, and the Panthers play the Packers today. Okay, and so matter of fact, one game is finna start here in a few ticks. We got
Okay.
some comments over here. Who is this? Oh, Jasper Saints, my brother. What's going on, brother? Oh, Jasper, man, how you doing over there, bro? Shout out, man. Appreciate you for watching, baby. Alan Dale. What does Alan Dale says? He says greatness at what? Growing petri dishes in his scummy beard. Being one of the dumbest people ever to be called smart, traveling, whining. I'd even suggest checking under the hood because he ain't no man. You know, Allendale, you love to play on people's deficiencies, as you know, as far as their character is concerned. I'm talking about the buckets, my guy. Okay, because I don't like Kyrie Irving's attitude towards the media, but he drops in buckets, my guy. So that's what we're talking about here. You know what I'm saying? Jasper, appreciate you, baby. Say I'm enjoying y'all. Yeah, Jasper, we had to get on our friend Alan Dale here, man, because he always, if he opposes anybody, he always talks about everything but what's important for the player. Okay, what's important? The important thing is that he's putting buckets in their basket. That's what he gets paid for. Yeah, he gonna whine. Everybody whines. Come on, man. Who whined more than Michael Jordan? You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna start that on here though. But man, let's get into it, man. NFL predictions. Hey, Saints, man, if you on here, man, you know, you can drop in the comments, baby, who you think gonna win certain games, man. And as I see it, man, I'll pull it up whether I agree with you. Sometimes my old man and I agree. Sometimes we disagree on who we think gonna win the game or whatever. We'll do that. Facts. Absolutely. All right, man, let's get off into this thing. All right, Pop. The actual game has started between the Bills and the Broncos. Who you taking in this game?
The Bills and the Broncos. Hey man, the Bills on the road, man.
Yeah.
The young quarterback is playing great and stuff. You know, I think you'll see them in the AFC title game against either Pittsburgh or Kansas City, man. So we're gonna go with the Bills.
Yeah, I got to take the Bills too, man. Yeah, I don't even know if this is one that should be talked about, but yeah, the Bills are right, man. If they continue to roll, they're gonna roll right over these Broncos. All right, Panthers and the Packers. Pop, who you taking?
Again, man, you got another team that's on the road, man. I mean, I look for the Packers to come out of the NFC, and so yeah, they'll beat up on the Panthers today.
Yeah, I'm taking the Packers as well, man. Aaron Rodgers probably gonna get that MVP. What you think about Jazz? Definitely think Aaron Rodgers gonna get it, man. All right, Pop, Buccaneers and the Falcons. Who you taking?
We'll go with the Bucks, man, but it wouldn't shock me. Again, I mean, the Bucks have not been consistent this year, but of course, you know they got the talent to win. So, you know, we'll go with the Bucks this week.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the Buccaneers too, man. They still trying to find who they are as a team, and I think that they're doing that slowly. But I definitely think that the coach has to tone it down with all these intermediate to long routes for Tom Brady. That's not his game, man. It's not his game, and that's why he's getting sacked a whole lot. If you brought him back to his game, he'd be lethal with who he got. Who you say on there, Jasper? Josh is tough, averaging 294 in the air. Yeah, he tough, man. He's made a great transition over the last 2 years. Me and my old man talked about this last week, how his completion percentage has gone up by 21% in the last 2 years. That's remarkable, probably unprecedented, bro. Absolutely agree with you. All right, Pop, let's move on, man. 49ers and the Cowboys. Who you taking? It's a classic game, supposed to be.
Classic.
It ain't really, though. It's a classic game.
Man, I got to do everything I can. I'm going to put my hand over my nose and say, I think the Dallas Cowboys in this one, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
I'm definitely taking the 49ers. Also, I'm rooting for Robert Saleh, who's the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, to be the next coach for the Houston Texans. He is a minority. Okay, so we would still get those. Yeah, let me put that in there, Pop. He is a minority, so we would get those compensation fix for him being here. He has the number 9 overall defense, and he's lost, I think, 7 of his starters. And he's still doing a remarkable job, man. Shout out to Robert Saleh. All right, Pop. The Lions, the Titans. Who you taking in this one?
The Lions and the Titans. I guess the Titans got it back together, man. I guess that little stumble they had against against Cleveland at home, they over that. So we'll go with the Titans in this one.
Yeah, Cleveland is legit. Cleveland is legit, man. And I'm telling you, the Titans better do everything they can, steroids, shots, for Derrick Henry to stay, because he's been toting that pill awfully a lot, because without him, they're nothing. But I'm taking the Titans in this game. All right, Pop. I don't even know if I want to bring this one up, but I'll ask you anyway. The Texans and the Colts, who you taking?
I'm going to take the Texans, man. I still say that Foe is on fire and stuff, and I'm telling you, man, I mean, I know the game's being played in Indy, and Indy need to win this game, but I just think that, I mean, Deshaun is on fire, man. I just think he's going to be up there throwing bullets, man. The Texans by a field goal.
Wow. You know what, Pop? I have to vehemently disagree with you. I think the Texans will get blown out in this game. They got blown out by the Chicago Bears. They are not worthy. They're not worthy of my respect. If y'all come out and put a good boot in their butt, hey, I'll give you my respect again. But right now, I see it 45-10. I'm taking the Colts in this game. All right, Patriots and the Dolphins. Pop, who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Dolphins, man. I don't know. I just don't think Cam them got enough left in the tank and stuff to they went out and get in the playoffs and stuff. And the Dolphins are still playing well. We're gonna go with the Dolphins in this one.
Definitely going with the Dolphins. Go to a go. Love to see them play. Love to see them ball. You know, you don't really get to see left-hand throwers anymore, man. Plus, he is a servant of the Lord Jesus Christ, so I'm always rooting for them cats. That, you know, hence I'm also hit. Even though I like that Jalen Hurts is there, but man, Carson Wentz is a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ, man. So I know he's gonna be somewhere else next year. other than Philly. All right, Bears and the Vikings. Who you taking in this one?
Man, every time I want to pull for the Vikings, they let me down. I'm just gonna go with the Bears. Seeing what they did with the Texans last week, I think that they got a little repeat in them. We're gonna go with the Bears this week.
Please, the Texans defense is trash. Okay, that's why the Bears came up. Mitchell Trubisky will be relegated back to the trash quarterback that he is versus the Vikings. The Vikings gonna run all over the defense of the Bears. I'm taking the Vikings in this game, Pop. All right, Seahawks in Washington. Who you taking?
Woo! It's a hard one, man. They playing in DC, man, but I'm gonna stick with namesake on this one and stuff, man. I know he probably gonna throw a couple interceptions and stuff, but hey, he gonna be throwing it to that freak from Ole Miss and stuff, and so we're gonna go with the Seahawks and namesake.
You know what, man? As much as I think the Seahawks should win this game, man, Washington's defense has just turned it on another level. Led by the rookie, man, out of Ohio State. I'm taking Washington in this game, man. I think this defense continues to get better. They're young, they're fired up, they're fast, and they're ready to put a good licking on somebody, man. And I think if they make Russell Wilson turn the ball over enough, they'll do just enough to win this football game. All right, Jaguars and the Ravens. Who you taking?
The Jaguars and the Ravens. They not.
Yeah, hold on. For you answer that, Minshew Mania is back now. They didn't put him back in the lineup. Go ahead though.
Okay. Anyway, they do a better job of sending Alabama to play the Ravens. The Ravens by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the Ravens too. I just had to add some hilarity to that. All right, Jets and the Rams. Pop, who you taking in this one?
Jets lose number 14. So yeah, going with the Rams.
You know what? The Rams are probably going to win this game, but I'm going to pick the Jets because I don't want the Jaguars to have nothing to do with Justin Fields. All right, I'm gonna just be honest with you. All right, man. Eagles and the Cardinals. Who you taking?
We going with the homeboy, baby. Channel View High School's finest, Jalen Hurts and his Philadelphia Eagles, baby.
All right, I'm going with the Eagles too, man. I got to see my boy shine. You know, I'm all about Texas quarterbacks, and I know that Kyler Murray is a Texas quarterback as well, but he from up north. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go for a dude up north. You know, Dallas ain't nothing but South Oklahoma anyway. You know what I'm saying? All right, but yeah, I'm taking the Eagles in this one. Chiefs and the Saints, Pop. Who you taking in this game?
Who, come again, Rich?
The Chiefs. Lord, I bit my lip. The Chiefs and the Saints. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going with the Saints because we need the Saints to knock these boys off, man, so we can get back in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, boy. Who that? Go
hey, look,
that nation, Rich.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna give you a legitimate answer on this. I'm taking the Saints, man. I'm gonna tell you why. Patrick Mahomes is having to throw the ball just like Ben Roethlisberger is having to throw the ball, and their run game has been off.
Right.
That defensive line for the Saints has been coming at the throats of quarterbacks the last 3 or 4 weeks, man. And what they have at quarterback is difficult for defenses to deal with. I'm going to take the Saints in this one, man. I think they playing in New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken.
In New Orleans, baby.
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints in this one, man. Definitely taking the Saints. Even though the Chiefs Mahomes probably gonna do some Mahomes magic, you know, and end up coming back. But I'm taking the Saints. All right, Browns and the Giants. Pop, who you taking?
Going with the Browns, man. They hot, man, and so
yeah,
I'm gonna stick with them, man.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm going with the Browns, man. All right, game of the week, man. Pittsburgh versus Cincinnati. Pop, who you taking in this one?
Hey, man, that's
man. Look, hold on, before you answer this, man. Don't give me one of these humble answers, man, about Cincinnati. Joe Burrows has gone down, man. I need a legitimate answer from you, man.
That's why I got my fatigues on. Because we need to hit them in the mouth in the first quarter, hit them again in the second quarter. If they want to come back for some more, hit them again in the third quarter and knock them out in the fourth quarter. Steelers by a touchdown.
Absolutely. And I think if you do what you need to do in the half, you just pull old Ben out. You know what I'm saying? You sit him on the bench, man. And y'all pluck the duck. I don't even Mason Rudolph, bring him off the bench, let him get in, man. All right, man. That does it for week 15. We'll see what pans out. Pop, the clock on the wall says this. All y'all, man. If you want to close us out with anything, go right ahead, sir.
Well, just want to wish everybody out there, man. Not only our listening audience, but not only in the state of Texas, not only in the United States, but everybody who's celebrating this very, very special holiday. I'd like to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas.
I would the same. Everybody, a Merry Christmas to you from the Solid Grip. We might be having a little something special coming up before Christmas. You know, we'll let y'all in. Me and my old man to talk about it. I'm actually working on a little song that I might put on there for y'all, man.
Okay.
But y'all tuning in this. Again, man, like, subscribe, comment, and share this link with your people, with your partners, with your family. Thank y'all. For me, J.R. Wilson, for my Pop Ping Wilson, this is The Solid Grip. Grace and peace to all y'all, man. See you next week.